It's no secret that limiting your champion pool is a major key to climbing in ranked. The only issue with this is that when Riot decides to heavily nerf your main champ, you then have to pivot and work on a new pick. Take Zeri for example, a completely broken champion 1 patch who's a great pick to have in your champ pool, but once she was nerfed, her win rate has barely been holding above 40%. Could you still play Zeri? Sure, but you'd be putting an unnecessary handicap on yourself by doing so. Now, what if you never had to worry about your main champion being heavily nerfed and could therefore stay super consistent with your main picks? Now that's what we'll be covering in today's video. 10 champions that always remain strong no matter the meta. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. One of the more rock-solid top lane picks who's always going to be a reliable pickup is Malphite. For the vast majority of Season 12, Malphite has spent his time in the A tier or above on our tier list. Even when the meta doesn't fully adhere to Malphite's strengths, his kit allows him to be impactful no matter what. Malphite's ultimate is one of the strongest engage tools there are, and that pick power is something that is always valuable for solo queue. Another big reason to why Malphite makes the list is due to his favorable matchups against the most commonly played top laners. Malphite loves being able to stack armor, and there are very few top lane metas where AP champions are played more than AD champs. For example, in 12.21 we have Aatrox, Darius, Fiora, Sett, and Camille as the most contested top laners for solo queue, and all of them are physical damage oriented. The core build for Malphite is a Frostfire Rush into Winter's Approach 2nd and a situational tank item 3rd. Roll with Comet as the keystone and dip into Inspiration for secondaries, running Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic. Hopefully we don't jinx it with this video, but the one top laner who has remained incredibly strong all season long has been Shen. Who knows, Riot could nerf Shen next patch, but for the sake of this video we can only go off what we've seen in the past, and that is Shen being an S or OP tier top laner for the whole of Season 12. The fact Shen is so strong yet he's not heavily contested in solo queue makes him a no-brainer champ to have in your champion pool. Global presence, if executed properly, is always going to be powerful for solo queue, which gives Shen an edge up on the majority of top lane picks. Even if you're in a terrible matchup, you always have your global impact to fall back on, whereas most top laners have to coin flip and pray their team comes out ahead. The build for Shen is a Frostfire Rush into Titanic Hydra 2nd and a situational tank item 3rd. Run Grasp as the keystone with Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Revitalize. Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter are the optimal secondaries. Moving on to a couple jungle picks. First up is going to be Zac. In the past 3 seasons, Zac has only been buffed or nerfed on 2 occasions, which just goes to show how reliable of a pick he is. We've had Zac in our jungle S tier for most of Season 12, but he's never really gained any crazy attention. Zac's early gank power and extremely strong engage are highly valuable attributes for solo queue. With how well Zac can impact his lanes throughout the early game, he has a big advantage over many junglers. As a tank with amazing catch power and respectable damage, you can always find ways to be useful on Zac. The core build is a Sunfire Rush into Demonic Embrace 2nd and Thornmail or Spirit Visage 3rd. With just Sunfire and Demonic Embrace, you can deal an insane amount of damage for a tank. Rune Page is Aftershock with Font of Life, Conditioning, and Revitalize, followed by Triumph and Tenacity for secondaries. Our second jungler who always remains strong is Fiddlesticks. Fiddle is very similar to Zac in the sense that he never really becomes a super popular jungler, but he's always in a great spot regardless. If you take the time to learn Fiddle, you can be impactful with him no matter the meta. Fiddle's ultimate is such an incredible tool that works so well in the chaotic fiesta that is solo queue. If you can arrive to objectives before your opponents and find catch plays from the Fog of War, it's so easy to give your team 5v4 advantages before the objective even spawns. If you want to remain strong no matter the meta, your kit has to provide something that most other champions do not have, and Fiddle's catch power and teamfight ability is what sets him apart from most of the pack. Fiddlestick's build is a Rocket Belt Rush into Zanya 2nd and Shadow Flame or Void Staff 3rd. Run First Strike as the keystone with Perfect Timing, Futures Market, and Cosmic Insight. Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter are the optimal secondaries. For mid lane, our 2 picks are a little more off meta as we have Rumble as the first feature. Champions that don't gather as much attention are way more likely to remain strong than picks with high play rates. Rumble has been a top tier solo queue mid laner for at least the past 2 years, yet he remains super underrated. It's not just the fact that Rumble's play rate is low though, as his kit is extremely powerful for solo queue. Mid lane champions that can consistently acquire early lane priority are always going to be impactful. So much of jungle's strength is reliant on the state of mid lane, and if you can always have the push, it allows your jungler to be way more proactive around the map. Rumble also fares insanely well into the most played melee mids we see in solo queue, so matchups are always great for him as well. Early skirmish power is completely nuts too, so you can easily win out on the 2v2 fights over Scuttle Crab. For the build, it's a Night Harvester Rush into Zanya 2nd and Shadow Flame 3rd. Run Comet as the keystone with Nimbus Cloak, Absolute Focus, and Scorch. Grab Bone Plating and Unflinching for secondaries. Another mid laner who we've had in our S tier for the entirety of Season 12 who always seems to remain strong is Pantheon. Similar to Rumble, Pantheon mid thrives in solo queue as we see melee mids like Sylas, Zed, Katarina, Yasuo, and Yone always as the most played mid laners. It really doesn't matter what season it is. Yasuo, Zed, and Katarina are always highly contested for solo queue. Point-and-click lockdown from Pantheon W and follow-up damage being super easy to land allows Panth to annihilate these high-mobility mid laners. Another factor that makes Pantheon a consistently strong mid is his ability to impact the rest of the map. Semi-global presence at level 6 is extremely powerful for a mid lane champion as you have so many ways to help your team out. Core build for Pantheon mid is an Eclipse Rush into Blade of the Ruined King 2nd and Black Cleaver 3rd. For runes, pick up Press the Attack with Triumph, Tenacity, and Coup de Grace. Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter are the best secondaries. The one ADC who never falls completely out of meta and is a great champion to main is Jhin. Jhin's champion design is just so well done that nobody ever complains about him, so he's much less likely to be nerfed. Jhin has never fallen below an A tier standing on our tier list for the entirety of Season 12, so he's been one of the most consistent ADCs. One major factor that sets Jhin apart from the rest of the marksmen is that he provides great utility and pick power. Most ADCs are 100% reliant on dealing damage from their auto attacks to be useful, but Jhin has other ways to be effective. If you can land Jhin W at a decently high rate, then sometimes you don't even need to deal damage to be more useful than the enemy ADC. Whenever we fall into a meta where ADC is not the hard carry role, Jhin always comes back around as his utility is extremely valuable. Jhin's core build is a Gale Force Rush into the Collector 2nd and Rapid Fire Cannon 3rd, roll with Fleet as the keystone and dip into Sorcery for secondaries, picking up Celerity and Gathering Storm. Our second ADC being Ashe makes the cut for many of the same reasons as Jhin. There are so many different ways for you to be impactful with Ashe, which allows her to remain strong no matter the meta. You can't put a price on being able to shoot Ashe E across the map and spot out the enemy jungler. This is such a valuable tool that no other ADC has, and it can help everyone on your team. Ashe has a very underrated laning phase as well, as she can get the push in a lot of matchups which can snowball into early dragons. Of course, there is the global pick power from Ashe Ultimate, which is the core reason she can thrive in any meta. So many of the champions in this video have that really strong CC tool that will always be powerful, and Ashe is no exception. Core build for Ashe is a Kraken Slayer Rush into Phantom Dancer 2nd and Infinity Edge 3rd. Grab Lethal Tempo as the keystone with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Biscuits and Approach Velocity are the way to go for secondaries. One of the best solo queue supports throughout Season 12 and in a super strong spot right now is Maokai. Maokai provides so much easy to execute crowd control, which makes him one of the most reliable melee supports you can play. Point and click W followed by Q and RCC takes no skill to use, yet can lock an enemy down for multiple seconds. The free vision from saplings is absolutely massive as well, and something that sets Maokai apart from other supports. The fact you never have to face check bushes and can always throw a sapling down to scout out areas gives Mao some of the most reliable objective control for any support. Easy to land hard CC and great objective control are always going to be powerful tools for solo queue, which keeps Maokai at the top of the solo queue tier list. Build for Maokai is a Dead Man's Plate Rush into Even Shroud 2nd and Wardstone 3rd. You'll want to pick up Aftershock for the keystone along with Inspiration for secondaries, running Biscuits and Time Warp Tonic. To round out the video and for our second support pick, it's going to be Zilean. It's actually pretty incredible how consistently strong of a pick Zilean has been over the past few years. There have only been 2 brief occasions in the past 4 years where Zilean has fallen below a 50% win rate, and it's usually hovering around 52%. Zilean is as close as you can get to a champion that legitimately remains strong no matter what. What allows Zilean to stay at this strong state while flying under the radar is his lower play rate. It's actually not that low, averaging around 4 to 5% each patch, but low enough that Riot never needs to closely monitor him for potential nerfs. You can never go wrong with spammable speed boosts and a revive, which allows Zilean to be very consistent. Providing your team with an extra life in fights is an insanely powerful tool, so if you can play a good Zilean, he's always going to be strong. Build is a Shirelia's Rush into Chemtech Putrefier 2nd and Zanya's 3rd. Run Airy for the keystone with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Water Walking. Best secondaries are Cheap Shot and Relentless Hunter. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So there you have it, 10 champions that always remain strong. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and we will see you in the next one.